Today I'm going to show you the best way to complete the Verdant Vale journal entry inside of Roblox Dig. So how this is going to work is I'm going to give you a recommended loadout for each rarity. For junk rarity, you should be using the magnet shovel. For your charms, you should be using the imp horns, the ice picks, and the cauldron hat. For the common rarity, you should be using the solstice shovel with the basic magnet, and the charms are going to be the same thing. For the unusual rarity, you can use the same thing, but myself, I use the starfire shovel. You can use the green magnets, and then the same 3 charms. For the scarce rarity, you're going to use the starfire shovel, the fortuned magnet, and for the charms, you're going to use the cauldron hat, the imp horns, and the solstice bell. For legendary, the starfire shovel, the legendary magnet is recommended, and the same 3 charms is the last. For mythics, use the starfire shovel, then you can use the magic magnet, and then for charms, use the same as the last 2. For divines, it's going to be the starfire shovel mixed with the crimson steel magnet, and also the same last 3 charms. Prismatic is also going to be the starfire shovel mixed with the same 3 charms. Now that the loadouts are out of the way, we're going to be using those loadouts for each of those rarities, and now let's go ahead and get into the best locations for every single item. Starting off with the common items, there's actually no junk items for this. So with the cowbell, the best location is going to be around the pig abundance area in front of the barn, and I would recommend the same exact thing for the egg, just in front of the barn area. For the apple, there is an abundance for this. To the left of the barn next to the apple trees, you will see the abundance there. The onion and millipede both can also just be found anywhere in the grass, and then the carrot has an abundance next to the entrance just off to the left here. You can see it there. Moving on to the unusual items, the gas can, the bee's nest, the watering can, all 3 of these items can be found anywhere in the dirt. I recommend just digging around this area. The chicken actually has an abundance just in front of the road here. You can see it there. The 4-leaf clover and glasses, nothing special about these. I recommend just digging anywhere in the grass. The eggplant does have an abundance as well next to the carrot abundance. You can see it just here. The aquamarine can be found anywhere in the road. However, I personally would recommend getting it in Cinder Cavern if you're having trouble, because there is an abundance there, but you shouldn't be struggling with this too bad. And then the sunflower also has an abundance. All the way at the back of Verdant Vale, you can see the sunflower kind of tucked away in the corner here. Moving on to the scarce items, starting with the giant seed, there is an abundance to the right of the entrance next to these towers. Both the bee and pie items can be found anywhere in the grass. And then for the tractor steering wheel and tractor engine, both of these have abundances in front of the barn. You can see them just next to each other there. And then the final scarce item, the scarecrow, actually has 2 abundances in front of the jam shovel area. All right, moving on to the legendary items, the pig actually has an abundance in front of the barn very close up, so you can see it there. Next up, for the cow and goat, both of these I recommend finding inside of the taller grass here to the left of the barn entrance. The enigma painting, I would recommend just digging anywhere in the road for it, or even the rock piles. For the emerald, I would also recommend digging anywhere in the road, or once again any of the rock piles. The scythe I personally found anywhere in the grass. You might struggle with this one a little bit, but it's not too difficult. Just dig in the plain open grass. Moving on to the mythical items, the pickle is pretty easy to get. I'd recommend just digging anywhere in the tall grass area over here, or even the pig abundance. I've dug up a lot there as well. The weaponized stick, I'd also recommend digging in this tall grass area. I've dug up a lot of these here. Moving on to the divine items, we have the turnip head. There's only 1 divine for this area, and it's relatively easy to get. I'd recommend digging in the tall grass area here. I've actually dug up a lot of these going for the prismatics. Moving on to the prismatics, there are 2 for this area. Newly added drowsy giant. This one is the harder prismatic to get in this area. It actually took me a little bit. I would just recommend popping meteors if you have the abilities to do so, and then just digging in this tall grass area here. And the same goes for the sunflower mascot. This is pretty common. I gotten a lot of these while going for the drowsy giant, also in the tall grass area. And then we have the final 2 items, which are going to be boss items. If you don't know how to get those, I'll quickly explain. You need to kill the fuzzball, and you have a 30% chance to get the fuzzball and a 90% chance to get the fuzz baby. If you don't know how to spawn the fuzzball in, there's going to be a flower that spawns randomly inside of Verdant Vale. It's pretty tiny, but it does emit a tiny bit of light. It can spawn literally anywhere inside of this area, and once it does, you just interact with it and the fuzzball will spawn in, and that will complete the Verdant Vale journal entry. Remember, we're uploading a video for every single journal, so if you need a different location, check out the playlist here in the top right, or also the link is in the description below. If you're new around here, make sure to drop a sub with notifications on. We upload a ton of dig content. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.